Everyone loves sports. There's a game out there for everybody. Sure, some people don't really like the mainstream sports, but there's so many obscure ones out there, you're bound to find something that you like. Toe wrestling exists. I mean, come on. You're going to tell me there's some guys out there that are totally not like me that would really enjoy toe wrestling for like the actual sport and the competition of it, because it's actually like a really beautiful art form if you really think about it, and that's just what I heard from other people. And with as many sports fans as there are, you can expect there to be just as many sports video games. You got the ultra-realistic simulations, like Madden, like 2K, and MLB. These are for the fans that want an authentic, competitive simulation. But that's fucking boring. I mean, if I wanted to play a real sport, I'd actually go outside. But since I'm allergic to sunlight and fresh air, I was always a big fan of the arcade sports games. I mean, you guys already know the popular ones. We got NBA Jam, NFL Street, Mario Tennis, Pickleball Smash. But in a sea of franchise spin-offs and quirky arcade games, I found one franchise that I latched onto as a kid. Backyard sports games. The Backyard franchise had games for every major sport. So whatever your flavor is, they got it. Personally, I was drawn to the backyard baseball games. So you might be wondering, Noah, what makes these games so special? Shut up. Let me get to, I'm gonna get to it, okay? To those people, I have two things to say. Simplicity and personality. Up until the release of Backyard Baseball, the developers, Humongous Entertainment, were cranking out kids point-and-click edutainment games that you've probably played before, like Freddy Fish and Pajama Sam. Backyard Baseball was their first time dipping into anything in the sports world. And might I say, they really hit it out of the park. Oh, God. This game is just oozing and dripping and soaking in character. You can really feel the love and the care that they put into this game, and you can tell that it really was a passion project. The whole cast of kids who appear in every backyard game, they're really what makes the game special. They created 30 original, unique kids, each with their own personality, memorable write-ups. They all have their own lines, their own walk-up music. It's really, really cool. You could show anybody who has played a backyard sports game a picture of the cast, and they'd be able to rattle off a few names. We got Ahmed Khan, Pete Wheeler, the GOAT, Pablo Sanchez. Humongous just went so hard in crafting the perfect cast of characters. And we can't talk about the cast without talking about how inclusive it is. It's split down the middle. 15 boys, 15 girls, along with characters from all walks of life. Any kid that picks up a backyard sports game is going to have at least one player that they can look at and relate to. Having kids of all genders, races, shapes, sizes, it fits into the theme of backyard sports. Like all the neighborhood kids are just getting together to play a pickup game. Now, up until 1997, Humongous Entertainment was stuck in their own personal hell I like to call children's educational video games. If you're in your mid-20s or older, you've probably played one of their games before, like Pajama Sam or Spy Fox. Now, after a couple years of keeping drooling infants busy, Nick Merkovich had an idea. He thought, that's a thing. Kids playing sports, I've seen movies about it, so it's got to be a genre. Why isn't there a game in that genre? And you know what? Papa Nick was right. There were a lot of youth movies that were popular. I mean, you have The Sandlot and Bad News Bears. People loved these movies, but sports games at that time, they were meant to be realistic simulations of the sport. Merkovich cites Bad News Bears as being his motivation for the game, initially planning on creating a game that followed a pre-planned story. He eventually decided he wanted to move away from the company's typical adventure genre and focus on the actual baseball gameplay. So after all his hard work, crafting this incredible idea, Merkovich hands over his idea to the rest of the team, and they take a look at it and say, "Fuck you, man. Get back and work on Pajama Sam. What kind of operation do you think we're running here?" Or, something along those lines. But the project was set aside in favor of making the same edutainment games that were guaranteed to bring in money. Jump ahead to 1995. The Seattle Mariners surged to reach their first postseason ever, with electric players like Ken Griffey Jr., Randy Johnson, Jay Buhner, Edgar Martinez. Baseball fever consumed the city of Seattle, where Humongous was based, And so backyard baseball finally went into production with the goal of creating a simple baseball game catered towards kids. And let me say, they really hit it out of the park. Such a stupid joke. Idiot. Stupid. The treehouse functions as our main menu, and we can play 2 different ways. Quick play, which brings you into a single exhibition match, or you can be a real man and play the league mode, actually play for something. In the league mode, you play 14 games throughout the season as you battle against other CPU teams to win the BBL championship. BBL refers to the Backyard Baseball League, not Drake's big, fat, juicy cheeks. The league mode was always my favorite way to play, mostly because of the draft. Before the season starts, you get to draft your team, and I spent so much time as a kid redrafting, trying different play styles. Each player has a set of skill ratings with attributes for batting, running, pitching, and fielding. So on one playthrough, I'd focus on getting really good arms. Another, I'd draft all power guys, and then another time, all speedy contact hitters. No matter what kind of team I was going for, though, you know I had Pablo Sanchez on my team. If you've ever played a backyard sports game, yeah, you know, look at you smirking at your phone right now. Stop it. Everybody's staring at you. Don't stop. After the draft, you pick your team name and colors, and then you're ready to get out there and compete for the BBL trophy. In-game, there are plenty of customization options to make sure anyone can have fun. You can change the difficulty anywhere from easy to hard, change between 6 or 9 innings, even switch it to T-ball for the younger kids. I usually turn off errors though, just because they happen at random. You can do everything right and your little snot-nosed kid will still boot the ball. Another thing I would definitely recommend turning off is the chatter. These kids don't shut the f*** up. My God, they're so annoying. Look at the goddamn schizophrenic simulator.
Swing and a miss. Hey, batter.
Luckily, you don't have to cut all the audio. They let you turn it off, which is really good. You'd be missing out on one of the really cool parts of the series, the colored commentators. Sunny Day and Vinny the Gooch. It's a really fun idea to have the commentators be kids as well. And the voice actors do a really, really good job.
The pitching, the spitting. I love the baseball.
Moving on to the actual gameplay, we dig into the box and you can see a couple different swing styles. There's power, line drive, grounder, and bunt. I love the little cartoons for each option whenever you select it. These are the details that I'm talking about, man. Power makes it more likely for you to hit home runs and extra base hits, but your margin for error is smaller. Line drive, from what I can tell, is just your standard swing. Grounder lets you hit ground balls to try to move a runner over or execute a hit and run. And then there's bunt, if you want to be a little bitch. You can also choose to open or close your stance to try to direct where you hit the ball, which I never really used, but it's cool that it's there, I guess. Your mouse controls the little bat icon. Think of it like the PCI from MLB The Show. It essentially represents where the barrel of your bat is. As the pitch is coming, you'll see a shaded circle. The pitch can end up anywhere within the shaded area. So you have to move your bat to where you think the pitch is going to end up, and then time your swing correctly. And if you do everything right, you'll hit a 500-foot nuke, disgrace the kid's whole family, make them pick up soccer. The pitch speeds were pretty slow, and it makes sense given the game's demographic, but I actually did find it the right amount of challenging. The pitch location area is big enough where you can still swing and miss even if you're in the area. So you actually have to track where the pitch looks like it's going to end up, or else you'll swing and miss or make weak contact. Obviously, it isn't as hard as the show, but it's pretty good for what it is. Once the ball's in play, you can click on the base path to send runners to the next base or send them back. It's all pretty simple, pretty intuitive. After making our third out, the game switches to the other side of the ball, putting you on defense. On the mound, you're armed with 4 different pitches: heat, slow ball, left hook, right hook. Before the pitch is thrown, you get to pick where in the zone you want to throw it, and you'll see that same shaded area that represents where the pitch could end up. And this area expands as the pitcher loses stamina, which is represented by the juice box on the right side of the screen, which was a perfect artistic decision for them, by the way. That's really good. You regain stamina in between every innings, or through the cooler power-up. So throughout the game, you might see some power-ups show up. These are single-use pitches or swings that are incredibly powerful. These can be obtained from turning double plays, striking people out, or getting a hit on a power pitch thrown by the CPU. Doing any of these gives you a random power-up. And these are really fun to use. They did a great job on making them feel like they're actual game changers. You can save your pitch power-up to get a big strikeout, or use a hitting power-up late in the game with the bases loaded. It can really swing the outcome of the game. They always felt really rewarding to use, and they were scarce enough that it stayed balanced. But that's pretty much it for the gameplay. It really accomplishes what it set out to do. Make a simple baseball game that's accessible to kids of all ages. Now, as you can imagine, Backyard Baseball was received extremely well. In the following years, we'd see multiple iterations of Backyard Baseball, coming to include child versions of current MLB stars and new 3D graphics toward the end of the franchise life, which looked very strange. I personally grew up with one of the Backyard Baseball games that included the real players. I thought it was really cool to be able to play with all these players I saw on TV. We had Barry Bonds, A-Rod, Ken Griffey Jr., all these amazing players. And looking back now, I feel like the addition of these real-life players kind of takes away from the unique feel of Backyard Baseball. The charm of the neighborhood kids getting together to have a pickup game is kind of ruined whenever you can play as him. But after the success of Backyard Baseball, a slew of sports games would release. Football, soccer, hockey, basketball all saw releases within the next couple of years, totaling a staggering number of games. But that's the story of Backyard Baseball. Let me know if you guys have any experience with these games. I would love to hear about it. If you're interested in this kind of stuff, go check out my other videos. We go over a lot of old nostalgic games. It's a lot of fun.